Okay, so this is going to be my formal overview of everything that's kind of possible with SpriteTools. Um, SpriteTools isn't like a game or anything, it's not like a homebrew project itself, it's for developing homebrew. It works alongside uh, the SF2D library made by Zerpy. And so I think that's how you pronounce his name. It starts with an X. So anyway, I'm just going to load it up. This is kind of my demo. As you can see, there are a bunch of links on screen. I'm controlling one of them with the D-pad. And basically, all of this is done in about 50 lines of code, including movement and a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to be going over. On the bottom screen, you can see I have the list of all the entities. Well, I'll get into that, and then I have something about a main camera. So to start off, SpriteTools lets you load in animations. That's why Link is animated here as I'm walking around. So what animations basically let you do is you can use a sprite sheet and set it to a certain position as like the first frame, tell it all frames are, in this case, 26 by 26, and then Link's walking animation has 10 frames, so I told it 9 because it starts counting at 0. And then it just automatically knows, okay, this is how I should animate this. And then I told it, wait 2 frames in between each frame of animation, and that's what I ended up with. Oh gosh, so this is a lot of information, actually. So once you have some animations, I can make an entity, and an entity is this structure you can see down here, where I've got, this is its X position, Y position, X offset, Y offset, how fast it moves, direction it's facing, is it moving, what kind of like control input does it take, and is the slot open. So obviously positions, this is the offset, this is how fast it moves. So like if this was set to 1, it would move at half this speed. If it was set to 4, it would move twice as fast. This is the direction it's facing. 0 is down, 1 is right, 2 is up, 3 is left. There's no diagonals. This is if it's moving, it's just true or false. This is the player control, it's an integer, 0 to whatever. Right now, 0 is not moving, that's why all of these entities aren't moving. 1 through 8 right now are player input, and that can be stuff like directional pad, ABXY, the circle pad, and the touch screen, and such. 9 and 10 are currently reserved for future, like, input ideas that I might have, like sliding on the touchscreen instead of using it as a D-pad. And then 11 through 20 are being reserved for AI movement. So yeah, that's how movement works. That's also all this movement's being done with one function. So that's just one line on top of everything else. All the entities are rendered with only one function because they're all in one array. It's 16 entities large, and it's all being rendered with one function, which is stEntityRender. Well, in this case, it's being rendered with stEntityRender camera main, and that's where cameras come in, because you can see all these entities, like everything's staying still while I'm moving around. Well, I have multiple cameras, so this camera is set to follow me while I'm walking around. As you can see, all the entities move behind me. This one, this is set to be in the center, and if I come up here, this one is set to be at 0, 0, but it's rotated by 90 degrees, and that's because you can rotate cameras. And then this one is set to be rotated by 45 degrees, so like this is me holding straight up, holding straight left, holding straight down, holding straight right, holding diagonal. As you can see, the sprite is kind of looking a different direction. That's because it's set to be rotated. And I actually have kind of a demo for rotating. And the other thing, it also has zooming, which I'll show right after rotating. If I hold down R, I have it set to rotate the camera. Oh, that's interesting. It's supposed to go all the way around. I must have screwed up something when I was coding, but yeah. It's supposed to rotate all the way around, but I guess I screwed up somewhere. Anyway, that's just my fault. That's not in the header. If I push select, it'll randomly. What it does is it loops through all the entities other than the player, and then erases them and then sets them to new random locations. So that's, you can do that really fast, and it's still all one function just to render it all. And I can zoom in. Now I'm zoomed in on Link, and I can still rotate while it's zoomed in. If I zoom in far, I can also zoom out, if I get it right. I have it set to wrap back to there. So now I'm all zoomed out. And so yeah, that is basically everything that's possible right now. If I remember, yeah, I think that's everything, if I remember correctly. There are a few very specific things that I couldn't really go over just because I couldn't really think of like anything to really use to like demonstrate them. I guess I could. I'm going to really quickly make a second player controlled entity, copy a couple of these, and then just change what's controlling it. So I'll set this one to be like the circle pad, and I'll set this one to be the touch screen, and then I will make back out into the homebrew menu and send it over. So now this one is controlled with the D-pad, this one's controlled with the circle pad, and this one is controlled with the touch screen. You can't really tell that I'm controlling them with different things, but you can kind of, and the touch screen movement, it is more analog. It has different speeds depending on how far away from the center you are, and yeah. But that's just because I put the time into it. I might do something like that for circle pad as well, but for now, it's just the touchscreen that has this analog movement. So if you find this interesting, make sure you leave a like. I appreciate it. It tells me that I'm doing a good job and I should keep working on this. And other than that, if you wanted to try this out, I'm currently working on a text tutorial on the GitHub page so that you can learn how to use it. And you can check that out and the download link for this SpriteTools header in the description. Thanks for watching, and I hope this is worth the time that I'm putting into it.